Hello everybody, this is Refresh and I am here to build a Zendikar Rising sealed deck for Magic the Gathering. This is the second of two decks. If you take a look at the description box below, you'll see links to the other deck as well as the games that we played against its sparring partner as well as against the challenge decks. So we'll go ahead and get started, open these packs up, build the best deck that we can, and then we'll be back for more games. We have a Shell Shield, Practice Tactics, a Pyroclastic Hellion, Seafloor Stalker, a Kazandu Stomper, a Subtle Strike, a Feed the Swarm, Rabid Bite, Cliffhaven Kitesail, Akum Hellhound, Relic Vial, Cinderclasm, a Kabira Takedown, a Carix the Raging Isle, a Plains, and a Double Face Helper token. We have a Fissure Wizard, a Tazim Royal Mage, Expedition Healer, Pyroclastic Hellion, Tajuru Blightblade, a Oblivion's Hunger, a Canopy Baloth, Tuk Tuk Rubble Fort, Glacial Grasp, Utility Knife, Paired Tactician, a Vine Gecko, Spikefield Hazard, Crawling Barrens, Forest, and a Double Face Helper card. We have another Shell Shield, a Tazim Raptor, Sneaking Guide, Dauntless Survivor, Blood Price, Vanquish the Weak, Risen Riptide, Sizzling Barrage, Dauntless Unity, Highborn Vampire, Veteran Adventurer, a Skyclave Plunder, a Brushfire Elemental, Valakut Awakening, a Swamp, and a Double Face Helper card. We have a Cliffhaven Sellsword, a Scavenged Blade, Field Research, Dauntless Survivor, Blood Price, Skyclave Sentinel, Vanquish the Weak, Risen Riptide, Sizzling Barrage, Dauntless Unity, Lithoform Blight, Rockslide Sorcerer, Journey to Oblivion, Agadeem's Awakening, Plains, and a ad card. Now we have a Scorch Rider, a Chilling Trap, a Kabira Outrider, Hagra Constrictor, Adventure Awaits, Mind Drain, Nis's Zendikon, Rotag Bugcatcher, Prowling Felidar, Lullmage's Familiar, Rockside Sorcerer, Pelaka Predation, a Nahiri's Lithoforming, a Foil Glacial Grasp, a Swamp, and a Double Face Helper card. Finally, we have a Core Celebrant, Molten Blast, Anti-Cognition, Angel Heart Protector, Jiraga Visionary, Expedition Stalker, Feed the Swarm, Expedition Diviner, Nis's Zendikon, Lullmage's Domination, Lullmage's Familiar, Salundi Vision, a Swarm Shambler, a Foil Plains, a Mountain and Illusion token. Now to take a quick look at everything that we opened. The Angel Heart Protector is probably only good when we are playing some sort of aggressive deck. Core Celebrant fits into a Cleric's deck. Prowling Felidar is in a Landfall deck. Kabira Outrider is a pumper. I like this one if you're being aggressive. It really does seem to help that particular deck. Journey to Oblivion is a card that is very well worth playing. The Dauntless Unity is more for these aggressive decks. And so again, we're looking at potential aggressive deck. Cliffhaven Sellsword, aggressive deck. Maybe a Warriors deck. The Dauntless Unity. Tazim Raptor is good in most decks. The Pair Tactician fits in a Warrior deck and is a very good reason to play one. If there are enough other Warriors, the Expedition Healer fits in a Cleric's deck. And just that deck, Kabira Takedown probably wants to play in any deck that it can, and Practice Tactics only if you are doing a party deck. So overall, white is just okay. I like the Journey to Oblivion and the Tazim Raptor Kabira Takedown. Then maybe the Outrider. If there's enough other Clerics, then maybe that works. Or if there's enough other Warriors, then maybe play the Warriors deck. So white is a support color. Blue has a Salinity Vision. That's probably just worth playing because it's a land on the other side. Lull Mage's Domination I like if we're heavy blue, because taking away one of your opponent's creatures and making it yours is probably a really good thing to do. The Expedition Diviner is good if you're in Wizards. The Anti-Cognition only if you are in Rogues. Glacial Grasp is good in, I think, just about everything. I like this card. The Chilling Trap, only good in Wizards. Risen Riptide is good only in the kicker decks. And then Field Research can be alright, but it is not an amazing card. Skyclave Plunder is a decent card draw spell if you have a party thing going on. That's a maybe as well. I don't know if that's better than Field Research. I guess it depends on whether I'm playing party or not. We have another Risen Riptide. And then a Shell Shield. That's probably only going to get played if we're playing the kicker deck. A second Glacial Grasp. A Tazim Royal Mage, which I think is pretty good. It does get a card back from the graveyard to the battlefield. Fits in the Wizards deck if we're playing the Wizards deck. Charix, the Raging Isle, I think is just good. Yeah, I think it's just good. It's just a big beater that can do a whole lot of damage if we're playing heavy islands. And then Seafloor Stalker is a way to get through if we're playing Rogues. So I like that decently as well. Then they have it on the Shell Shield. So we have one really strong card with Charix, the Raging Isle here. And then if we go heavy blue, the Lull Mage's Domination can work. Maybe we could play with red and play Wizards and spells, or we could play black with Rogues. And then the Risen Riptide could come in if there's enough kicker stuff going on. It's not really internal to blue right now, but it's possible that it could work out. Black has Feed the Swarm, which is removal. I'd play one of them, but not more than one of them. The Expedition Skulker is good if you are playing Rogues. The Block Predation I would play as well. Mostly just because it's also a land on the backside, and so sometimes you'll rip a card from your opponent's hand, sometimes you'll just be a land, and that's fine. Mind Drain could fit in certain decks, so we'll consider that. The +1/+1 with counter decks, if we have one, that's what the Constrictor fits into. It's mostly with green, if that does happen. Agadeem's Awakening could be okay, because it's also a land on the backside, and it can potentially bring some of your cards back. I don't think I ever want to play Lithiform Blight, so we'll put that down here. Vanquish the Weak is removal. It's better than Feed the Swarm. Blood Price is like bad card draw, so not wanting to play that, but maybe it fits in the right deck. Hybrid Vampire only fits in a party deck. Don't want to play that if I can avoid it. We have a second Vanquish the Weak, which I like. Another Blood Price, which I'm trying not to play. Oblivion's Hunger, I think, is okay in the counter deck, so it'll go with the Haggard Constrictor. I'm not playing the second Feed the Swarm just because it's too expensive in terms of life cost. Subtle Strike could possibly get played, maybe in the same counter deck that the Oblivion's Hunger is getting played in. And black is okay. There's some good removal, some potential recursion. It doesn't have a strong theming except for the +1/+1 counter cards here, and so I don't know that I'm going to play it, but you know, with the right pairing, it's possible. Alright, in red we have the Molten Blast, which is okay as far as remove goes. We're not playing Nahiri's Lithoforming. I don't know what deck that this would fit into, except for some sort of crazy landfall deck, but even then, I think you'd want to be constructed to play that, so that's out. Rockslide Sorcerer, if we're playing a Wizards deck, I think that can work. The Bugcatcher fits well in a party deck, or in a Warrior deck. I think it fits well in either. Scorchrider fits well in a Warrior deck. We have a second Rockslide Sorcerer, which kind of makes me want to play a Wizard deck. We have a Sizzling Barrage, which I don't think is great except in a super aggressive deck. So maybe a Warriors deck. Scavenge Blade, I don't want to play this, it's just too expensive. The Valakut Awakening, I guess I could play this like late game, and mostly it'll just be a land, but maybe late game once in a while I'll just use it to replace all the lands that are in my hand with something better. Sizzling Barrage again, only in an aggressive deck. Sneaking Guide, I guess, can be played with the right creatures. It is a rogue, so it could help with the party mechanic. We'll definitely play Spikefield Hazard. Sometimes you can just snipe the next one. Sometimes you can finish your opponent off if they're at one. We're definitely not playing the Tuk Tuk Rubble Fort. I like the Hellions quite a bit because they can pick up these lands and get us to recast them. So those are probably gonna get played if I play red. Fissure Wizard fits in the wizard deck. Again, not like an amazing card, but it is a card that can potentially do something. Syndiclasm is strictly sideboard. Akum Hellhound is in the landfall deck, and I don't think that came together, but maybe. Then we have another Pyroclastic Hellion to play, and I like that. I think red is okay. We don't have a strong set of cards here, but we have some decent cards, especially if we can play some sort of blue wizards deck, but we don't have a ton of wizards either, and so it's like relying on weird spells at the moment. If we play red, we can also play Brushfire Elemental with green. If you're playing a landfall deck, I don't think that's going to happen. And Little Mage's Familiar, which we have two of, could work in a green and blue deck. Taking like a green, the Swarm Shambler is really good, especially if you play a black and green counter deck. So that just grows and grows. I like it a lot. The Zendikar, I don't really think I'm interested in playing. And then the Visionary, I think gets played just because it draws a card. The Adventure Awaits is like low interest card. Dauntless Survivor is okay. I think the Veteran Adventurer can be good if you have enough party. I don't know that we do. That's what we have. Wizard, Human Warrior, and then just a generic human. It's also one of everything, so that's something. And it's a big enough creature that I'm going to probably end up playing it if I play green. Another Survivor I like. The Gecko can be good if you have enough kicker to make it worthwhile. The Baloth is good in the landfall deck. I don't know that we got there with a landfall deck, or this set got there with a landfall deck. I think Blight Blade we only play if we're really desperate for rogues. I like the removal that the Bite has, and Kadaj Saber is a great way to replay your lands and re-trigger landfall, or just, you know, pick up your utility lands and turn them back into cards. And so I like the Zandu Stomper a lot. I think green is okay. I like the Shambler quite a bit, and I also think that there are some potential options with other colors here, but I don't know. It is a bit of a shallow color in terms of total number of cards. Finally, we have colorless. This fits in the kicker deck. If we want a kicker thing, Crawling Barrens also fits in a +1/+1 deck. And that could be like green and black as a possibility. I think you just put it into anything though, because it eventually ends up a creature that you can dump a lot of mana into and make something out of. This is in the Cleric deck. I did not see enough reason to play a Cleric deck. Kitesail could get fit into a deck. And then the Utility Knife, I don't think that we are looking to play this either, just because to re-equip it is so expensive. We don't really have much that we want to equip it to. So Baron's definitely getting played. Don't know about anything else here. It really just depends on where the cards go. I think I want to play blue, and maybe blue and green because of the Lone Mage's Familiar. I know that the other deck that I built has that, but I think that it's still worth investigating just on the virtue of the fact that I have these two. I think red might be one of the colors that I'm going to end up playing, so maybe it's going to be red and black or something like that, but we'll just start with this because I want to play blue because it has a bomb, and then, you know, 2 bombs, and maybe I can make this work, and we'll have a Simic versus Simic deck face off here. So this is, I guess, the start to this deck. I don't know, it doesn't seem that strong. I mean, there's not a lot of kicker synergy that's going on here that makes me want to play this particular deck. So maybe this is not what we're doing. Let's take a look at the +1/+1 counter deck, and maybe that will be a better deck. It seems pretty shallow. There's not a ton of payoffs for this particular deck, so I think we are off of the green and black deck here. Let's see what else we can do. Maybe we'll go red. Doesn't seem that great. I mean, I don't really want to play any of these other red cards. Maybe that I'm going to try to see if I can pull together a blue and red deck. I guess this could fit into the kicker deck if I want to go back to the blue and green deck, but yeah, this doesn't seem particularly exciting either. I suppose I could play the Kumhel Hound and maybe try to pull off some sort of landfall crashing business with the Brushfire Elemental, but yeah, this is not exciting here. Let's go back and see if we can make a red and blue deck. I don't love this either. I don't think this combination is really going to get there in the end. I mean, there is some wizard synergy. I guess that's the one thing that it has going for it. And then we're just kind of try to win off the Cherix, the Raising Isle, or Seafloor Stalker, I suppose. And everything else is just kind of in there to help. There is a glut of 3-drop spells, which I don't like either. And the Risen Riptides are not going to be activated that much because there's not a ton of kicker in this particular set of cards. I think I do play blue, but I don't think it's going to be with red. And maybe I'm going to go back to green. So I'm guessing that what this deck is trying to do is to hold out for a bit until I can play like a Katazandu Stomper, Cherix, maybe surprise with the Risen Riptides, like play the Glacial Grasp or Shell Shield away to activate the Risen Riptides and then smash. We don't have a lot of options to activate kicker here, so kicking is not really going to be a major source of advantage here. Like we have the Royal Mage, we have the Shell Shields, which I don't think I'm going to play, and I think that's it. Oh, I guess a Field Research. And is that going to be enough to play this? I don't think so. What are we getting in green that's better than red? Not much. Draga Visionary, I guess? A Swarm Shambler. The pair of Lull Mage's Familiar. But what good is a Lull Mage's Familiar if you're not like trying to get into playing something big, right? I don't know that there is a good reason to do this. So I guess we're going to go back to blue and red. So it's something like this. There are 5 wizards, and a whole bunch of spells. And then I think the goal is to cast enough spells that the Rockslide sorcerers can finish off whatever needs to be finished off. That means that the Field Researches and the Glacial Grasps are important here. Slen Division will get more spells, so that's a good thing too. I almost want to keep the Shell Shields to trigger the Risen Riptides as a surprise. But this is definitely not a strong deck. It's a weak deck, and I'm just trying to make it work. I'll play the Hellhound in this deck. That doesn't fit. Assuming that these are lands, we have 14 creatures, 9 spells, which is I think the bare minimum of a deck. These will be added as lands of their appropriate color. I think we're just trying to get there with Rockslide Sorcerer is sort of what this deck is about, I guess. Or Cherix, and then everything else is just trying to hold out till then. I do not like this deck. I do not think it is strong, but it is, I think, the best we're going to be able to do. So we're going to keep it. We have 17 blue symbols, 9 red symbols, and we could say it's 18 and 11. So we're going to be tilted towards blue for sure, even though we do need to have some reds, and that's mostly because of Lull Mage's Domination. If we're going to be tilted towards blue, we have Crawling Barrens and these 3 lands, and so we'll want a 9-7 split in terms of islands to mountains, and then the Crawling Barrens at the bottom. So we'll want 8 islands, 5 mountains, and then the other lands that we have pictured here. Here are my 8 islands, my 5 mountains. So now we have 9, 7, plus the Crawling Barrens makes 17 lands. I know that this isn't ideal, but I think that this card pool wasn't very strong. Let me know what you thought about the deck that I built, and if I should have gone a different way. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button. If you'd like to see more of my videos, you can hit subscribe. This is Refresh. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.